What if scaling your business didn't require more hustle, but smarter structure and real, and I say this with a lot of emphasis and excitement, Leslie, freedom. Welcome back to the Wickedly Branded podcast. I'm your host, Beverly Cornell, and I'm the founder and fairy godmother of brand clarity at Wig Branded. And today we're talking all about growth that actually supports your life. I am so excited to introduce Leslie Hessler. She is the founder of Your Biz Rules. Leslie helps establish service-based business owners create predictable profits, build empowered teams, and scale without burnout. She doesn't preach hustle. She builds systems that last. Today, we're learning more about her journey and what it really looks like to amplify your authority without sacrificing your life. Leslie, I'm so excited to welcome you to the show today.
Odie, I'm excited to be here. We're going to have a great time.
Okay, so talk about how you actually started your business, like what sparked it, and did you always want to be an entrepreneur?
I think I always was an entrepreneur. I don't know that I had that concept as a child, but I do remember in elementary school when jelly bracelets and teddy bear pins and all these things were like the fad. I would actually go buy some and resell them at the school to make some money. We needed money in my family, so I was willing to do whatever I could to contribute and to have a little pocket change. So I think in that way, I probably always was an entrepreneur, sought entrepreneurship, and there's a reason for that. I didn't seek it out. It sought me out in some ways. And so I actually have been an entrepreneur for 17 years. I've had two businesses. Your Biz Rules, obviously, is that second business. So my first one started in 2007, ran that to 14. But really the journey for Your Biz Rules started in like 11 and 12 for me when I realized that the business that I had built sucked my soul dry. And I could no longer tolerate that, but I knew I wanted to stay in business. So it was a 2-year conversations of God. If it's not this, then what is it that I really enjoy about being in business? Is it the thing that I'm doing? And it wound up being, no, it's not. What is it? And I was like, I love business. I'm like, my brain is business models on steroids. I can dissect and all of these things. I'm like, great. What am I going to do with that? And so it took a while to get to where we are, but I really think and believe and know that Your Biz Rules is our playground. And what's super cool to me is that's exactly what every single one of our team members will say as well. And in that way, I know that we're in the right place, right time with the right people.
Playground. Describe what a playground is as it relates to Your Biz Rules.
So a playground is somewhere where we choose to come to. If you look at our values, we talk a lot about collaboration. Play is better with people, in my opinion. Like you can definitely have play with yourself, but for me, it is that collaboration. That idea, that value set really is an underpinning into almost everything we do, how we've been able to scale, how we work together as a team, how we back each other up. It's infused into everything. It's not an element of the business that doesn't rely on collaboration in some way, shape, or form. And that is play. But I also think one of the things my team would share is that they get to come and be their best selves. Like we have designed this company to allow people to be their best selves and support them in that journey. If they're interested in something, we're like, sure, have that. We believe in ownership. We believe in empowerment, and we believe in accountability. Don't get me wrong, but it's done in such a way that everybody knows that the work that they're doing for our clients is having an impact. It's changing a life. It's changing a business. It has a legacy element to it. And for that reason, they're willing to go through the really challenging conversations to get to that impact and legacy. And I think that's what we find to be fun. It's not mechanical. It's human, if you will. And when you can see the change that can happen for one of our business owners, when they're able to put a kid through college, when they're able to pay off debt that's been like an albatross around their neck, when they're able to hire that phenomenal employee, they're like, oh my gosh, how did I live without this person?
Absolutely.
That's a payday in our world. That's what we're doing this for, is to change lives and to change it through better business.
So we call ours magic and you call yours the playground. It's just a different word, but essentially the same thing of living in your magic and really fully understanding the power that you have and being empowered. There's so much to that. And I think that culture can speak volumes about a founder and the people you hire. That is really can define so much about even the clients that you're drawn to you. So that is amazing. So you talked about, I'm curious about the transition from the first business to the second business, because so many of our listeners are overwhelmed, overworked, almost over it. Talk about how you had to lean into your faith, it sounds, to realize, is this the right course of action? Maybe give a little bit of advice or maybe a little bit of your thoughts of how you navigated that and how you knew for sure it was time to change.
Oh, how did I navigate that? I think ultimately it was about curiosity. One of my skill sets is the ability to see multiple options. I can see all the doorways and then be able to whittle away. Nope, not that door, not that door. But that takes a certain ability to be curious, to wonder about things, and to be able to find solutions that are based in what I will say the and, not the or. For instance, an or in our world is called a competing commitment. It is where this is a priority and B is a priority. And all you think is I can have A or I can have B. You never ask the question, how can I have A and B, right? And I really was searching for the and. How can I have impact? How can I be fulfilled as a person where I need to know that I can use my intellect and my skill and challenge and variety, like all of these things that I knew I loved about being in the world? How can I also build a business that wasn't going to suck my soul dry? Like, how can I? And I think that was always the questions, right? How can I? How can I? I think so many more people, when they get into curiosity, when they get into wonder, what they do is they shut it down. They're like, I can't because I haven't. I can't because
not yet. That's my phrase.
Still such a belief in the lack, if you will, this scarcity of things, where have always been like, but how can I? And that is a pervasive question in my soul, that every single problem I come up against, I always believe I'm going to find the solution. And I'm always going to believe that I can do it in a way, we call it the triple win. It's a win for me, it's a win for the other person, and there's another win in there. Like, I am looking for the triple win, and I'm not satisfied if somebody loses. That is a different mindset to attack a problem, a change. Did I come in? Was it magical? No, I didn't at all. One of the very first things I wound up doing was Strength Finders 2.0. And I did my Strength Finder. They are strategic, futurist, individualistic, achieving, activating. And I remember looking at those going,
exactly,
what am I going to do with this? And I was just willing to try a lot of things. You'll always see us experimenting in our business. We're always trying things. We're always like trying to prove or disprove something, an assumption, because you never know actually what's going to work. We cannot assume just because it didn't work in the past that it's not going to work now. Absolutely. We can't assume that just because it worked in the past that it's going to work now. We have to always be a bit of a mad scientist in our exploration and in our journey. So it took me 3 years to come into this. And even then I totally had the imposter syndrome of who am I, but I still leaned in. I still played with it. And I'm super proud that the journey and the vision that we had and that I had in 14 and where we are today in 25, 26 is nothing more than a beautiful evolution of the same vision and journey.
Yeah.
But I've been willing to go on the journey, and we're never done. We're always evolving.
So one phrase that I use, I love the way you reframe that, but the one phrase I use is working with your business or with it, not on it or in it, but with it. And this concept that you can be in some opposite thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a reframe for me. It was working with my business, working with my energy, my passion, my purpose, my seasons, my cycles, my femininity, my fully embracing myself, and how does it work with my business, so my life with my business. And I know that one of the things that I read in your bio was this idea of scaling without this like hard hustle, which is something I truly believe in. I am writing a book right now. One of the key things though is that business was really built in the post-industrial era for men, and how women do business differently. And one thing that I have said in the book is that branding and business is identity work for women. We build businesses based on our passions and like how making an impact in this collaborative sense that you're talking about and all these things that we're really helping people, like the wins. It's helping other people. It's impacting relationally to others. Where men don't typically do a business that way. That's not necessarily their MO. And not that they don't ever, but from a generalization perspective, they define business very differently than we do. So what has been like something that you've struggled with or that you've overcome or that you've embraced even as a female founder, finding yourself outside of the hustle or in collaboration with the hustle or however you want to frame it? I'm okay with it because I feel like that is exactly what my book is about, is like finding the thing that works for you as a female founder related to your life, your responsibilities, the mental load you carry, all the shoulds. I call it the should suitcase that we carry from society.
Because
So share that journey a little bit with us and how you've come into your own that way.
so much in that. I do agree with you. I do think there's post-industrialization and our definition of business and the success that we're chasing. I don't think it's exclusively women anymore. We see men and women equally wanting the same things, and which is amazing because you can rewrite your own rules.
Hey, I know you're listening today because you're ready to take your business and your brand to the next level. But if you're being honest with yourself, maybe even feeling a little bit lost, but you've got this big vision and you know that you're meant to make a bigger impact. But sometimes it's so hard to know where to start and which direction to take. Does that sound familiar? You're not alone. So many purpose-driven entrepreneurs feel the exact same way as you. That's why I created the Clarity Quiz, a simple tool that helps you get to the heart of what's holding you back and shows you where you need to focus next. No more second guessing, no more spinning the wheels, just clear, actionable insights that give you the confidence to move forward, that next best step. Taking the quiz will give you a deeper understanding of your brand's true potential and what's standing in your way. And the best part, it only takes like 3 minutes, but the results, they could transform the way you approach your business and brand forever. So if you're ready to stop feeling overwhelmed and you want to start showing up with purpose and clarity, go to wickedlybranded.com and take the quiz now.
Yeah.
You can write your own rules.
Yeah.
That is the most powerful statement. Listeners, you can write your own rules.
Yeah.
So yes, if this is an opportunity for you to create the exact business that you've been looking for, that you want, that you believe with your business, create the playground, do all the things, you can create it. You can create it. It's exactly what you need. So the most important statements I think anyone can make is that you are empowered. You have the ability to create exactly what works for you.
And I also think you shared a little bit of the secret, and is identity. Is we need to recognize that our identity has been wrapped up in, for a lot of entrepreneurs, in our ability to do the work. But to be a successful business owner, it's not about always doing the work in as much as ensuring the work gets done.
Yeah.
My number one job is to ensure that our team has the freedom and the flexibility to get the job done. And is that training? Is that support? Is it that I come alongside? It is that to a T, is that ability. So your identity has a lot to do with your experience. And I'm going to say something that is going to set everybody off in just about with me. I want you to stay with us, okay? And listen to the rest of this. Being overwhelmed is a choice, period. Isn't this interesting? When you ask me, how did I get off the hustle and grind train? I stopped making it acceptable to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
Number two, I have to work as equally hard on my mind, my mindset, and my beliefs in order to change my behaviors. And I'm going to be really transparent. This week that we're in, we call it the end of the year, everything tense. And my CEO and we're going to crack under pressure because there's just no more ability to get things done. That could be overwhelmed. But what we do is we sit here and we're like, on one hand, we chose this. On another hand, this is all doable. And on the third hand is how can we reprioritize to get back into the flow and the go of things and not allow the weight to take us down? Because when you're changing your mindset, when you're changing how you relate to the hustle and grind, it's challenging because the rest of the world is still addicted to it. And
We're conditioned. This hustle is so powerful. Yes.
I'll say, here's the really interesting thing, because I love that you're writing a book. We're on our second one called Scaling Rich, and it really is about this hustle and grind and how to detach.
Oh, awesome. Yes.
So if you think about it, though, give something weight. You can have one task, right? That one person is just heavy as all day. You can have the next person, man, this lights me up. Where do you get your energy from? Like, where do you derive value from? If we can find a way to reposition, even the most mundane tasks, there are stuff that only I can do in my company, and I don't like to do it.
Yeah. Amen, sister. Preach it.
But I don't focus on the fact that it's not fun with me. It's like, I'm completely capable of getting this done. And because I focus on it, I can get it done quickly and move on to the next thing that I'm going to do. If everything feels heavy, then it's either you're trying to do too much, you're trying to work outside of your zone of genius, you're not letting go. You're probably like, we sing the Frozen song all the time to our clients. We're like, and we do it with humor, right? Because when you, at 7:00 at night, when you won't get off your computer, you're going to hear me in the back of your head going, let it go.
I love it.
It's these choices that we're making. And if you think of freedom as the ability to make a choice, period.
I love that.
What are the things that enable us to have choice? It's typically being in your power, owning your environment, your world, and protecting your boundaries. It's about typically money. Money is freedom of choice.
Yes.
Time is freedom of choice.
Time is so important.
And most people equate freedom to time, but I think there's something broader. And you're going to have a freedom love language. And maybe it's time, maybe it's money, maybe it's impact, whatever it is. Get in tune with that real fast and then protect it as the day is long. You cannot bend. It has to be your non-negotiable, or you will be forever sacrificing it upon the altar of success. And I think that's one of those other things we have to think about is we've been taught like the payoff to the hustle and grind is if you work hard enough, if you're good enough, then someday you'll fill in the blank, pay yourself, take that vacation, be recognized for your efforts, whatever. We've all got this reward we're chasing. But what if you could realize some things now? What if you did not have to sacrifice? Because that sacrifice is actually the big lie.
Yeah.
As a business owner, if you can write your own rules, you can have what you want today. If you don't love your business today, you can change it tomorrow. You are really not locked in by any other shackles than that which you put on yourself.
Absolutely. 100%.
And it's aligned.
I will say this, being maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was successful by all standard measures. The money was coming in. I had clients. I had referrals. The work was good. I had a team. I had all those things, but I was completely dissatisfied with what success was looking like. So just because success looks like something to the world doesn't mean it's success for you. And really understanding what success looks like for you and how you balance that. I don't think balance is the right word. How you create that is really the thing that is going to be the hardest thing for you. I feel like for your job, for your work. Because you said the word protect. So there's many things that I put into my systems, my day, like how I intentionally use my time, like chunk and stack things like operationally as Monday. Like I know my seasons, my cycles, when I do my best work, when I need to be most creative. I understand who I am, my ebb, my flow. And that took a little bit of work to figure out. But that investment in that understanding has reaped rewards beyond anything I could possibly have ever imagined.
Yep.
So this idea of creation, and I don't know about for you, but for me, it didn't happen overnight. Like you said, the business you have today is not the business you have to have tomorrow. It took me a little bit of time. It took me probably a year and a half to really get to a business that I feel like is in my flow versus me being in some kind of construct of flow, some other person's container of flow. But there is something so incredibly powerful. I call it my iridescent belly flats. When I put on this set of shoes for this particular business, it feels like home. It's a sigh of relief, and it's a different feeling entirely than 3 or 4 years ago when I was like, is this what success is? Is this what everyone's chasing? And why does it look different? Why do people on Instagram look so happy in this? Because this doesn't feel happy to me. It feels ugly and sad. And frankly, I don't know about you, Leslie, but I wasn't even fun to be around. When you're stressed out and you're all those things, you're not even like that is of a person. So I felt like this was freeing on so many levels for me to be able to say I could do it however I chose to do it. Whatever looks good for me, feels good for me is what I need to do.
And that is often where we have to start. when people are coming in and they're at that moment of, I'm just going to burn it all down. I don't care how good it is. I work successful, but this stinks. We have to reconnect to the vision. You have to reconnect to the dream. You have to reconnect to the payoff. And usually when I start that and people are like, my business, I'm like, I don't care about your business right now. I care about you. And that is sometimes this moment that a lot of our clients will come to. They're like, oh, you care about me, not just about the business. So yes, my job is to get your business in alignment with who you say you want to be and what you say your life is.
Yep.
And in that way, I will hold you accountable to your vision. You are always welcome to change it, but I will hold you accountable to the truth of that vision.
Absolutely. So that's why it's identity work, because it's about you.
Yep.
That's where the identity work comes in, Les. And I think so many people did this checklist of, oh, we have to have a logo. And that to me is just like a piece of art if it doesn't connect to the me in the business. Like there's all this connection that happens and all these different levels from how your systems are run, how the clients that you have, the people on your team, the way your core value, everything needs to circle around the me.
The core.
Beautiful. It's as if you and I love this when I meet people. And what's happened more and more, which is so beautiful, you guys, listeners, listen, is that when I got clear on who I am, people like Leslie have entered my orbit. And that is
destiny.
When you meet people who understand the importance of it. And so while she's more focused on scaling and systems and CFO type things, and I'm more focused on the marketing side of it, the goal is the same. To fully embrace who you are and create the system and the business and the brand and the visibility for yourself that is actually like you. That's where the true authenticity that everyone's been talking about for the last 5 years, be authentic, comes from.
But no, it's really hard to be authentic if you don't understand who you are.
Okay. So let me ask a question. When was there a moment, or was it a series of moments where you fully felt at home in your business, where you felt that alignment, where you felt that shift for you?
What I will feel in contrast is when I'm shifting and I need the business to shift, because this, like I said earlier, it's a journey. We're running a marathon. We're not in a race.
You mean it's not one and done?
No, it's not one and done. I look successful. I did all this stuff, but I wasn't in love with any of this. That was definitely where we were. And I was just thinking about the journey that has gone on. And now people are like, oh, what are you chasing? I was like, I'm having fun. Now I'm chasing my potential. And I was like, and I'm only chasing my potential because I believe I can do it. And so many parts, so many days of my journey, I limited my potential because I could not see how I could align it with my identity, my vision, and those types of things. And so as we learn in business, because that is what small business ownership is, it's on the job training every single day. Right? And now people are like, what are you trying to do? I'm trying to do 10 million. And I want the next 9 to be built in a totally different way than the first one. And now I'm playing with the forces of exponential growth. I'm playing with technology, playing with solutions. I do believe that the businesses that we have in 3 years won't look anything like the businesses we have this year. The work of businesses is changing. I'm on the ride. I want to see how well I can take this magic carpet and fly. That is the next adventure for me. So I'm seeing it such as that. But it is this constant awareness and constantly being present in asking and paying attention to the moments where I'm like, this does not feel good. Like, why?
Yes.
Why does this not feel good? And then I'm like, okay, is it me who has changed? Because that's likely. Is it an area that I just didn't know we needed to give attention to? Likely. Was I not clear? Did I not have clarity? Because if you're not clear, you're going to not have clarity in your business. And then I'm like, whoa, pause. Rewrite this, redo this. My COO has saying she's new day, new rules. And we're like, new day, new rules. We're fixing that. That did not feel good. Now let's get into alignment. So we're almost always a mechanic. If you think about it, we're always paying attention to the engine of the business and how it's running and the direction that it's going, so that we make tweaks along the way. I have not needed to do a major overhaul. We always are refining. We're refining our marketing message because marketing and consumers are shifting in what is important to them. So you always have to be refining. But I guess that's when I said, like earlier, if you can detach from trying to be done, then you understand that this is a journey, so that when things need to evolve, it's not a big drama. It just is. It's a signal that you should go left instead of, and we don't get this emotional baggage, which leads to weight, which feels heavy, overwhelm, but kind of tie all of our conversational points together for you.
I love it. Nice big bow, golden thread. I love it.
Yeah, there you go. But you just have a different approach to what is happening. We've had a lot of uncertainty. I know we feel it. We know our clients feel it, but I expect it. It's not a surprise to me because actually I feel like we've always had uncertainty.
Absolutely.
We're just becoming more aware of it. A lot of people this year have been locked into the emotion around the fact that it has occurred, and that becomes trauma. And then that trauma keeps you from being the best version of you that you could possibly be because you're not reconciling it.
Yeah.
So going back into the mindset, whether you believe you can or can't, Henry Ford, you're right. We had a phrase, as soon as you argue for your limitations, they surely will be yours.
Oh, yes.
Be careful of how you're defining yourself today, because if you have a belief repeated over time, it becomes truth. If you repeat that truth over time, it becomes reality. And when you're down in reality and it is not the reality that you want, you have to go back and change your truth. And that means you have to change your words and you have to change your beliefs. That is the biggest gift we have, is how strong our minds are if you can capitalize on it. If you can tame it and use it for good, use it for your own benefit, not always the benefit of others.
Yeah. I love this so much, but I really want to go back to the question because I don't know if you really answered it.
Okay.
Is there a moment or a series of moments when you fully felt like home in your business?
It's every day.
But was there a moment, like when it first started? Did something have to shift? I understand the fixed mindset, like you're talking about. Like I get that. Was there something where it went from fixed to a more open to? So for me,
I just think a sparkling moment of singing high and heralding from.
I don't mean it like that. Like it could be a series of moments. I love the visual though. I love the magic wand analogy you used earlier too. Having an out of body experience at one point, talking to a client, giving him advice. Right.
Yeah.
And it was the exact advice I needed. Like I wasn't following my own magic. Like I was allowing other people's magic to flourish, but I wasn't doing that. I was like, why am I not taking my own advice? It was as if like I needed to have, and that was one of the moments. And then there was one moment where I was late at night, my family's asleep, I'm still working. And I'm like, what is this? Why am I doing this? Like there was like this series of wake up calls. They weren't like these super loud 2x4s. It was just like these little questions that kind of came to me in these moments. And finally I listened to them.
I mean, ultimately that's what brought me into this business. I think it goes back to this personal journey part of recognizing that I had to be present in the success that we achieve every day. After my first son, I probably had postpartum and I was struggling with, why wasn't I happy if I had everything I dreamt of as a little girl? And I did. And there were good things. There was nothing to be upset about, but there was something I had to reconcile there. And in that moment, what I found is I was chasing the future so much, I never recognized when it was here in the present. And so it was that what I started going, what were my childhood joys? And I was like, a butterfly, bubbles, and swings. These are not hard things, right? So it's even like right now when a butterfly will fly by, I pause. I just take a moment to appreciate the butterfly. And that is what presence is for me. And the whole like work-life balance, I agree. It's not balance. It's about being present, being wherever you need to be 110% and being there. And I think because that's been such a practice for me for so long, you can call it gratitude. We talk about one of the things we'll do with our clients when you're working through the visioning exercise. We call it the 6 senses of success. What is the thing you will hear? What is the thing you will see? What would you taste? What would you feel both texturally, but also emotionally? Do we know what success really is? Back to our earlier conversation. And those things, when people put it together, they talk about laughter. They talk about friendship and hugs and high fives and for taste is champagne bubbles. And in that way, when you're asking for these big moments, what I have learned to do is see success in the smallest moments. And therefore, it's always consistent. It's the contrast more that I would say I've had those moments of high contrast because it pulls me out of feeling in alignment. That is the difference experiences.
One of the chapters in my book is called the vanishing finish line, that you never reach a finish line. There's this like, that's part of the hustle culture. And it's just out of reach. Like you think you're going to get there and then it's just out of reach. Like it just keeps moving away from you as if it's this vanishing finish line. and it's an impossible chase. And so what you say is so important because it is about being present in the successes now. But women historically have not been taught to celebrate their successes in general.
People haven't been
but they're not afraid to go on the golf course and celebrate with their friends. They're just not, they do the high fives all the time. And it's just a different mindset. Women are taught to be grateful and not ask for help. It's a very different construct in many ways. But it's interesting as I've been exploring the vanishing finish line of what does success? And I love the six senses. It's so good. That's the way to think about it. And one of the things that I've talked about with success for myself is travel and some of those kinds of things with my friends. And like you talk about some of those things. So it's on par. It's just different terminology, which I think is lovely and brilliant and wonderful. And I'm so glad that so many people are talking about these things now because they haven't been talked about this way. And there was for so long was this just constant chase of the next big thing. And not that you can't still do big things. It's just this chasing to exhaustion that needs to be reframed, I feel. So I do have a magic wand because when I was little, the things that made me happy were magic wands and unicorns and sparkles. Yeah. One thing I ask every single guest, is there a marketing challenge you are experiencing right now that maybe I could wave my magic wand and help you with today? Is there one question or issue that you've been challenged with lately?
Not really.
Okay.
Not currently.
Okay.
And I don't even see that as a challenge because I'm working on it. We are stepping into a new stage, a new amplification, if you will. And that takes time to build the pieces. We've been building them pretty dedicatedly. And so now it's just about the money catching up to the pieces and being able to fund the next elements. But like I said, I'm already working on those. So I don't even consider that to be a challenge. It is just part of the process.
So there's no area which you would want to grow or grow faster from a marketing perspective right now?
Everything is about growth for me and growing back life. It's a $1 million dream here that we're writing. However, it's not a challenge in that way. I actually have a strong marketing background. So I actually grew up, my first degree is journalism, grew up in agency world, done that. We are in partnership to acquire a marketing agency ourselves. So there's a lot of that fundamental stuff that I truly understand and will do. So I'm not searching for answers at the moment. I am in implementation. Okay. And then the biggest thing I have to manage is the allowing things to unfold at the pace that they're going to unfold because I think fast, I work fast, I do fast. Right. However, I'm not in control of the world. So I have to allow some things to pop into place and to settle and to be able to do. But everything that we're doing right now, there's nothing that we're not able to either plan for, strategize about, or put into play. I just need the time to be able to allow for that to happen.
It's a great way to talk about something, though, the idea of time. That marketing is not an overnight success. That very rarely happens. Just a singer doesn't typically become an overnight success. They put in the work to get to the moment that allows them to be a success. Yeah. It is about consistent work. It is about showing up and then looking at what's working and what's not working, and then tweaking and growing, changing as you grow and change, but also as the industry and the world is changing, especially with AI and technology and all that stuff right now. But there is the idea of time. And most high performers want it all and want it now, which is what most of my female founders are. So this idea of being patient and consistent is a really great lesson for so many people that it will come. You just need to put it out there in the way that it needs to be implemented so that the results can come. It's just being patient and having it. So that's a great topic to talk about anyway.
I feel like I'm in a stage that not everybody will understand, but I'm no longer being bound by time. And so therefore, when that's not the thing I'm chasing or pushing, it is almost a higher level of control and confidence and calm. So that it will take the time that it needs to take. And like you were saying, dedication, put in the reps.
Yeah, put in the reps.
I don't let things sit on my desk for too long. If they sit on my desk for 2 weeks, I get a little anxious. And I'm like, all right, high priority, get them off, move them on. It is my job to allow the flow to happen. Yeah. And that way it will happen in the time that it needs to. But I have utmost confidence.
The flow to happen, though, you have to show up. You have to do the work to allow the flow to open the opportunity. You have to do the work and show up. So showing up is half the battle. Sometimes showing up can be the most challenging part of it. So it's a great, and I will say this from a marketer to another marketer, marketers still need help.
I understand. I have a team. I have all the pieces. I don't allow a problem to become a challenge. We take action on it so super fast.
That's awesome.
I've got a team of 9. There's no way I could do what I do.
I just feel like when I was going through the evolution of finding my magic, waking up, awakening, and activating, and amplifying my brand, those kind of steps, is that sometimes we do, even as a founder, period, sometimes you need someone from the outside to tell you and show you what is possible and what you are made of, because you don't believe enough in yourself yet. That's going to be incredibly powerful. I was just talking to a client yesterday, and we do a thing called the Brand Spark Experience. It's like a 90-minute deep dive, probably very similar to what you do about who they are, how they show up in the world, so that we can build a brand around them. And we provide a blueprint after the call. And we reflect so much of what we see in them in the blueprint. It's aspirational. There's 4 to 6 next best steps. So it's very activating in the sense of what you can do to make this happen. But she was telling me, Beverly, oh my gosh, like seeing it written and seeing it in your words, like sometimes we get in our own head. We don't even see how the world sees us anymore. And so I love helping people who are doing the thing and then need maybe an outside person just to push them, maybe that extra oomph to get them. Oh, did I just dramatically? Yes, I did. This does this. It's so dramatic, you guys, when you're listening, it goes forward with some hand gestures that the video will go screening real quick. But it is so exciting to see people see themselves in a new light. So it's beautiful. But you have a team that everybody that listens has a team, so they can struggle with that sometimes. And your whole point is scaling, and that is about having a team and doing all those things. So that's beautiful in so many ways. So one of the things that we talk about always is the idea of what it means to be wickedly branded. Oh, what does it mean to you to be quote unquote wickedly branded? How do you show up? How does your business show up that way? And if you could give the listeners a piece of advice to show up that way, what would you share?
For our journey, what it means is that no matter who people work with in our company, they have the same experience. They would say the same thing. You could edit the name out and it would apply to anybody in the company. So that to me is a living brand where it's been extended past just me into something more, into something that has its own identity. They say my biz rules.
I love that so much. Like they say things to be like magic, and I love it when they use that. It's beautiful when they do that. That is awesome.
Yeah. So those are probably the 2 things. I would say to do the work to find out your uniqueness, because a strong brand in your company it positions your business to be without competition. And I will talk, everybody will who are your major competitors? I can say, I will tell you the people that work in our space, but I don't personally consider them competitors because nobody can do the voodoo that we do. So
see, magic, guys, magic.
You need a copy. Even if you R&D, rob and duplicate, you still can't beat us because that brand has been built in such a way and everything about it is so distinctive. So marketing typically is where we start to think about that brand. You have to allow it to seep into every single pore. And with that, it becomes your guiding light.
It eventually just oozes out of you everywhere you show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to your website earlier today and I love your brand. I love the colors. I love the book.
First this, then that's the first book.
I loved it so much. I was like, that's so clean and beautiful. It's just nice. It just fits your brand. So talk a little bit about how listeners can find you, work with you, read your book. Like, where can we hang out with you, Leslie?
Sure. So easy peasy. Our website is probably the easiest place to go. And we actually have a page just for your listeners. You go to yourbizrules.com/sparkle to see the page that we've set up for you. So we've got, if you'd like a link to our book, that's there. We have some great resources on our blog if you just need to find some DIY type stuff. But also, if you heard something and you want to see if we can help in your business, then there's a way to reach out and get in contact with me. And we'll just have a quick and easy chat, no pressure, just to find out how and if we can help you.
What social channel is your favorite?
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We have a great LinkedIn newsletter out there. It's called Profitable Growth for Business. We publish once a week. We've been doing about once a week out there for the last 2 or 3 years.
Thank you so much, Leslie. I hope
You're
that my
welcome.
listeners really, that today inspired you a little bit, like that you have options to create the exact business that you want, that you can scale that and grow that in ways you never even thought possible if you do some mindset work and you think of, and you actually are open to what is possible. And maybe it's a matter of getting that right person to be with you on that path, whether it's myself or Leslie, depending on what you need. You don't have to do it alone. But the most important thing I want you to know is that your message matters and your work matters, and the world needs to hear what you have to say. They know that you have the medicine. We need to know that you have the medicine people need to fix problems that they have. So marketing isn't just about visibility. It's about identity, and it's about the impact that you're making. And it's about connecting with the right people in a way that feels absolutely 100% true to you. So just please keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep sharing your brilliance, and keep making magic in the world. And until next time, I dare you to be wickedly branded. Wow, what an incredible conversation we just had. I hope that this episode lit a little bit of a fire under you to finally bring your brand to life in a way that feels true to you. Remember, clarity is the spark, but activation is that fire and flame that keeps your message and your visuals and your strategy aligned, and the confidence that follows. So does that lovely thing called momentum that you've been waiting for. So if today's episode, if you loved it, make sure you are subscribed to the Wickedly Branded Marketing Podcast so you never miss an insight or a conversation. Until next time, dare to be wickedly branded.